Unto the Church of God and Saints of Christ, I'm indeed happy to be here on the fifth day of the Feast of the Lord's Passover. It's indeed a pleasure to be present in your midst, and I feel your spirit. I've really enjoyed myself over the past 4 days or so at the Feast of the Lord Passover. And the preliminary has already been given, so I'll just get right into what I have to say. I have to admit that I was a little apprehensive after the presentation for Sister Elder Roach. It was absolutely wonderful. Amen. But I was reminded that we're not in competition. We'll just do what the Spirit has given us to do. So if we look at the third chapter of Exodus, I want to read the first 4 verses. Exodus 3:1-4. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. And when the Lord saw that he had turned aside to see, God called him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, here I am. Amen. I'd like to submit to you that there was a transference there. When God said to Moses, and Moses responded, there was a transfer. There was an energy transfer. I believe, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and indicate that the chief gave me the most important letter. That is energy. Everything moves by energy. We eat food for energy. Our cars run on energy. We need energy to power our homes. Energy, we have to have a source of energy in order to function. The choir emitted a tremendous amount of energy all through this service. Energy is important, and it is the most important aspect of our lives. It transfers, it emits, it controls everything. It's a necessary attribute that we all should have. We gotta have energy in order to function. Now, I'm gonna prove it to you that this is the most important letter. When God created the heavens and the earth, and when the earth was without form and void, the earth was there, it had potential, but things didn't start moving, excuse me, until God spoke. And when he spoke and he said, let there be, there was a transference of energy, amen, to the earth, and it began to in motion. things began to happen. He said, let there be, and there was light. And he continued to say, let there be, transferring that energy. Amen. Newton's law, his first law of motion is this. An object that stays at rest, object at rest stays at rest. Object in motion with the same speed and the same direction unless acted upon by an imbalanced force produces energy. Now, energy cannot be created. Energy can only be transferred, or converted. Energy moves back and forth. Amen. When we're at a motion state, there's potential energy, but it does not produce anything until it moves. So we want to coin this rendition here as the exodus of the energy of Exodus. The energy of Exodus. God transferred his energy, amen, to Moses. So Moses will be able to carry the children of Israel through the wilderness to the desired destination. And energy, amen, energizes us and keeps us movement. There's no progress unless there is movement. I want to point your attention to, and I think all of us has been on a roller coaster. Okay. The roller coaster, it starts the incline. It's gradually picking up momentum. And once the car gets to the top of the roller coaster, it begins to do a downward spiral. Amen. And as it goes down there, it increases in energy and speed. It continues, and it continues at nonstop now until it reaches its destination. Amen. What has been created there is a kinetic energy. Kinetic energy, amen, is the energy of motion. Kinetic energy, amen. So we're not involved in a motionless God. He transferred his energy, amen, so we can move through life, amen, uninhibited. Amen. If we get tired, we just rest and start all over again. When we get tired, we just rest and rejuvenate and start all over again. Start the movement. Amen. The children of Israel, as they went through the land the wilderness to the land of promise, amen, they met with a number of obstacles, amen, but they continued to move. God gave them a pillar of cloud by day so they can keep moving. And it gave them a pillar of fire by night so that he can keep moving. Amen. He provided 600,000 soldiers, fighting men, so that if there became an obstacle, and they met with many of them in the wilderness, amen, those soldiers were able to fight, and men was able to take care of the situation, and they kept on moving. Amen. They kept on moving, even though Pharaoh was on their track when he recanted, and he came after. God applied energy, amen, to those chariot wheels and caused them to drag heavy. Energy is the most important aspect of our lives. It infiltrates everything, amen, that we do. Thank God for his energy that he has infused each and every one of us with. God's energy propelled the children of Israel through the land of Egypt. Amen. But when they got to the Red Sea, they reached an impasse. When they reached that impasse, they had to stop. Moses told them, say, stand still and see the salvation of God. And when Moses received his instruction, his instruction from, I'm gonna have to stand up for this. When Moses received his instruction from God, he told Moses to stretch his rod over the Red Sea. Now, he just didn't stretch his rod like that, but by the eye of faith, I can see Moses. He switched this back and forth over the Red Sea, and the waters parted. Amen. The winds began to blow. There was kinetic energy that was released, amen, on the water, and the waters as the wind blew, and the wind blew all night, the waters began to rise up on both sides. Amen. And the wind blew. And the wind blew. Can you visualize the amount of energy that it takes to rise the waters on both sides? Amen. And dry up the land on the bottom of the water. And the children of Israel, they went through, going toward their destination on dry land. Amen. And the Bible tells you and I, when they got to the other side, Miriam rose the choir, and they begin to sing, did no Pharaoh get lost? Or get lost, they lost. Did no Pharaoh get lost in the Red Sea? Yeah, did no Pharaoh get lost? Or get lost, or get lost. Get no Pharaoh, we get lost in the Red Sea. Where now? Get no Pharaoh, get lost, get lost, get lost. Get no Pharaoh, get lost in the Red Sea. Amen. You wanna make one last mention here. Aren't we glad that we have a leader that moves? Amen. A leader that moves. Amen. And he keeps us energized. Amen. So we add our energy, amen, to this energy and keep it moving. Let me hear somebody say, let's keep it moving. Amen. Amen. And don't stop until we reach the destination.